Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. My name is Donovan Carter. I am here with the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program at the University of Florida. I'm a master's student. I study Latin American Studies. This is my first semester at UF, so I'm really excited to be there. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, you're fine.
Awesome, wonderful. Sometimes I'm going to spit this gum out. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to swallow it. It's okay. Awesome. So, could you start with something? Could you give me your name and tell me how to spell it?
Okay, my name is Donald, D-O-N-A-L-D.
Last name?
Baker, B-A-K-E-R.
All right, thank you, Mr. Baker. Wonderful to meet you. It really is.
Nice meeting you.
Could you tell me a little bit about your life growing up? When and where were you born?
I was born February the 20th, 1948, East Palatka, and a back room in my grandmother's house.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Home birth. Wow. Do you know if there was a midwife present who helped with the birth?
Yes.
Do you know who she was?
I just know her first name. Everybody in the community called her Miss Francis.
Miss Francis. Mm-hmm. Miss Francis was a midwife. Wow. Yeah. Okay. And tell me about your family. Are you the firstborn, youngest?
Out of 10 children, I'm the second born.
Wow. Second of 10. Yeah. How many brothers and how many sisters?
It was it's 4 brothers now. 4 brothers. Well, it's 4 of us now and 4 sisters. 2 of them died.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. So, did you spend, I guess, the majority of your life in East Palatka?
No, actually, I spent my great-grandmother raised me, and she got me when I was 4 months old and adopted me. And I lived here in Palatka all my life except the time I went in the Army.
Oh. You were in the Army. Can you tell me about that?
Well, I was a combat medic in the Army, yeah.
In Vietnam, Korea?
Yeah, I was with the Big Red One, and I also served in Europe.
In where?
Europe.
In Europe?
Germany.
Wow, in Germany, wow. Well, thank you for your service. I want to tell you I appreciate that. That's amazing. I'm glad you caught the Freedom Bird. That's really good. Wow. And how old were you when you enlisted?
When I was enlisted, it's been so long.
No, it's okay.
Probably about 22, 23, probably 20, between 20 and 20.
20 and 23?
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Wow. What made you enlist? Do you remember?
Well, I didn't. When I went in the Army, it wasn't such thing as being enlisted. You got drafted.
Oh, you were drafted.
Yeah, you whether you want to go or not, you got drafted.
Yeah, you got drafted. Yeah.
But you either win or go to jail.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And this was Vietnam and also in Europe?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's when. Yeah, 68. Yeah. I want to thank you for your service again. I do appreciate that. I know I have family who served in Vietnam as well. And I know the plight specifically of black vets in Vietnam was unique in of itself. So I commend you for that. I appreciate it. So we're going a little bit further back before you were drafted. What about your childhood?
Childhood?
Yeah. So tell me more about it.
I had a good childhood. Started out that, like I said before, my great-grandmother raised me, and she died when I was 14, and then her daughter finished raising me, and I left home at 18, and that's it. But the school was. Want to know about what school? The school?
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the school.
The school here, I live about 2 blocks from here, And I actually lived between two white schools back then.
Right. Remember what they were called?
Palatka. I think one of the high school was called Palatka High, and then the other elementary school was called Campbell Elementary School. And I lived between those two schools, but I couldn't go to those schools. So I had to walk from 2 blocks from right where I'm sitting now to the high school that I graduated from, Central Academy. And when I left and went in the Army and I came back, they had changed names and everything. And the first school that I started from was on Washington Street. It's all caved in and falling down now. They've been, trying to get a grant to get it rebuilt, but I haven't been able to do it so far. And
what was that school called?
Central Academy.
That was Central.
Yeah. See, when I first started the first grade, it went from 1 through 12. And then when they built another school called Central Academy, we used to call it the new school. And it was just went from the elementary school in the 7th grade, you go from there to, it's called Jenkins now. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's named after one guy that I went to school with. I was ahead of him, but he got killed in Vietnam. They named school after him. That's the history of my school here.
She went to finishing school. She didn't go to school here. She went to Jacksonville, so she didn't know anything about it. But they was raised right here. The sister lived in Daytona. I think.
Wow, the first accredited Negro high school in Florida. Wow.
Here.
Wow.
And the books they gave us, the white people gave us, when they got new books, they gave us the old books. Yeah. I went through that.
Yeah. Secondhand books. Do you remember your teachers while you were there? Do you remember the names of any of your teachers?
Yeah, I got them right here. Where we had a class reunion.
So names get mixed up like
Matter of fact, that's me right there when I was in the 7th grade. The teacher's name.
I had a cousin, he's a lawyer now.
School song. I know I got teachers' name.
So you're from Florida? Who? Oh, are you really?
5,500 miles away from home.
Lord. It's good to get away though.
It's been a while.
Oh, yeah?
But my principal name was the first one was Mr. Mullins.
Mr. Mullins?
In elementary school. And high school, my principal name was Fred R. Brooks. Here it is. Was our high school classroom sponsor from 7th to 12th grade. And there's a principal and assistant principal.
Wow. So, let me think. You graduated in 66?
1966. And our class, my graduating class was the largest class that ever graduated from Central Academy.
Wow, largest class. 1966 was the largest class. Wow.
And I think it was 120. I'm not sure. But
Something
I think,
around there? Around one? Wow, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. So tell me, do you remember, so tell me more kind of about what your high school experience was like there. Can you, do you know any, remember, did you do any sports? Were you in any clubs or anything?
No, I didn't do nothing. No, I was too small because I didn't weigh but 81 pounds when I finished high school. Actually, back then, the football player was bigger than now.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I didn't, I just went to school, after school, work.
Yeah. Where did you work? Where did you work? What did you do? What did you do?
I worked at a restaurant, and then in the fields, like potato field, cabbage field, whatever it was, whatever the season was.
Yeah. You did seasonal work on farms and things like that as well?
Yeah, like they had people come around, and if you wanted to go to work, pick you up, take you on their farm, and you work. Then they bring you back home.
Okay. Do you remember any teachers that you had that had an impact on your life that you remember fondly of or not so fondly of maybe?
Impact on my life? Yes. One, her name was Miss Cornell Grady.
Miss Cornell Grady?
Mm-hmm.
What did she teach?
Science.
Science. Did you like it? Did you like the class?
Yeah, I liked the science. English was my favorite subject. Yeah. But Miss Grady and Miss Osgood, they were my neighbors too also, yeah. So.
Yeah, that's good.
I can remember always saying that they told me, when I used to cut up, she said, what you are to be, you are now becoming. And I didn't understand it then, but now I do,
That's good. That's yeah. It's funny how when you're younger, your teachers or other people say things that you don't really understand until later. It's funny how that is.
Yeah. This is when I was senior class graduating, we went on a cruise. See the difference between the ships now than they are now?
Yeah.
Yeah. SS Bahamas Star was the name of the ship.
Wow. In 66, who? Wow. That's amazing. Bahamas. Y'all went on a cruise as a graduating class. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
To the Bahamas?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Do you remember? Tell me more about that. Like I never heard anything like that before.
Yeah. These are the people that went on. And let's see. These are the people these are the teachers that went. Miss Osgood, Miss Maxwell, Hillary Taylor, and Robert Tooley. Yeah. And trying to figure it out.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
We was the only person anyone ever did that. And how we paid for it was I worked. The money that we had to pay was $50. That was a lot of money back then. Yeah. Work done, chores and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm sure that was quite the experience, though. A lot of fun. Seems like fun. So you talked about how you liked science and English was your best subject. Do you remember kind of what other things you learned? What other things you learned in school?
In school, I learned, and then I took. I had a trade in school, tailoring.
Oh, tailoring! Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
I do wish they would bring trades back to high schools. I think that would be a good thing.
Back then I could, draft a pair of pants, make a suit.
Wow. That's really incredible. I do wish that more students in my generation had an opportunity to learn a trade. In the similarly, like you would get in high school. We don't really have shops anymore, or like a wood shop, or even like auto shops or anything like that, really anymore in high school. So.
We had woodworking, masonry, and tailoring.
Wow.
Yeah, but I didn't want to get dirty, so I went to tailor.
Yeah. That's good. That's really, really good. Wow. So, tell me more about kind of the school and how its role in the community. You said you lived between two white schools. And what was that like, having just one black high school in a town? Do you remember how many students were there at any given time? Do you remember?
I think it got to be about 800. You ever heard of Interlaken?
One more time?
Interlaken?
Yes.
Putnam Hall?
Yeah.
All those rural cities, little rural towns, they went to school at Central Academy. And East Palatka, a place called Federal Point. And see, those were the only people that rode the school bus that lived in a rural area. And now the buses used to pass right by me going to school, but I couldn't get on.
Couldn't get on it.
No. Rain, cold, or whatever. But, we didn't have a car either, man. And, my grandmother didn't drive, so. And I had to walk. But it didn't seem that far because there was so many people that walked to school, like on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
If you wanted to pass somebody on the sidewalk, you had to get off and get on the road. There was so many, you know.
Wow.
And we had a lot of fun. And Central Academy was a school that everybody that graduated from there, no matter what class, a lot of love.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
a lot of love in the community. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really great. Could you do me a favor? I'm sorry. Could you take your mask? If you don't feel comfortable taking your mask off, you can keep it on. But I just want to be able to see you. That's good. That's amazing. So tell me more about how. So you said there's a lot of love in the community for anyone who the graduating class. There was a strong sense of school spirit. Is that true?
Yeah, strong sense of school spirit from the community, also the community.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you? What would most Central Academy graduates? What would they do after would they go to college? Would they go to work?
College. You have quite a college, and most of when I graduated, all the young men was getting drafted.
Yeah, at that time.
And we had one of the biggest counties with casualty from Vietnam.
Oh wow!
Here.
In this county.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then, those that could afford to go to college or some kind of way they made a way to go to college.
Yeah, man.
And then job, just like when I got out, I worked on one job for 39 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
What job was that?
You ever heard of Cole Brothers?
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Pacific, they make paper products.
Yeah. You worked for Georgia Pacific?
Mm-hmm. That's 39 years.
You started after you came back?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 39 years. Wow. And you retired after that, or did you do something else?
Yeah, I retired. I've been retired about 10 years.
Well, congratulations. That's really amazing. I have a long time before I retire. So I reckon about 39 years before I get to retire. So
you go to school at the University of Florida?
I do.
My daughter was a counselor at Florida State.
Wow.
She's a psychiatrist. She has her own practice now.
Oh, that's amazing.
In Tallahassee.
Yeah. I'm sure you're really proud. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. You said most of the young men in your class were getting drafted, do you remember what it was like when the drafts kind of started, and do you remember how you felt?
Well, you know, it was exciting. It was fear. You know, we knew what was going on. And the sad part about it, you know, we didn't really understand what it was all about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you had to go.
Yeah. And what was the battalion you served in? Who did you serve? What was the group you served in?
Big Red One.
Big Red One.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. In the Army or Marines?
Army.
Army.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I had a son in the Marines.
Your son is in the Marines?
He out now, but it was. Had one in the Navy, one in the Army.
One in the Navy, one in the Marine?
And one in the Army.
One in the Army. Wow. Yeah, my oldest brother's in the Navy. He's stationed out in Hawaii now, so he's got it pretty nice. But I think he's going to be leaving there pretty soon. But wow.
Where are you originally from?
Originally, so I moved on a few times. But I spent most of my life in Atlanta, and now my parents live in Charlotte, North Carolina. So,
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any kin down here in Florida, but I have some kin in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta, in a city called Rome, Georgia.
I know where that is.
Yeah, I got some kin out there. I got some kin in other parts of Carolina, Columbus County, North Carolina, which is kind of towards Myrtle Beach.
Is that Columbia, South Carolina?
No. Close to the border of North and South Carolina. It's further north than that.
I did basic training at Fort Jackson, South
Oh,
Carolina.
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Fort Jackson,
And
I've heard of that.
I got a cousin retired from Fort Bragg, and he lived at North Carolina.
Yeah. I love hearing about kind of the web of family and how people kind of know people from everywhere, especially us as Black folks. It's really cool. So now I'm going to ask, kind of going back in time a little bit more. During your, growing up, and you lived with your great-grandmother, you said. Did you live with your siblings as well, or just her?
Mm-mm.
Just her.
I lived with her, and when she died, but before she died, I had some cousins and their mother. They all moved in to help take care of me and my grandmother.
Did you guys go to church? Did you guys go to church often, frequently?
Just right on the next street here, same church. I was born and raised in this church. Yeah. We had a church around there, and then bought another church. They done tore it down and built this one. Mm-hmm. So I've been coming to this church all my life.
That's amazing.
Bethlehem.
That's powerful. That's really good. Yeah, that's really great. You said you've been coming this here all your life. Wow, that's a powerful feeling. I know how encouraging church can be and how comforting the community is. So I really admire that. It's amazing. So what role would you say church has played in your community life and your family life?
A lot. For the reason I'm sitting, the things that I was taught and told, that the reason why I'm sitting here now. Life, your do's and don'ts. And see, when I was the church and the community and your family, we was taught to have fear and respect. And like I said, that's why I'm here now.
Yeah.
That was the role. Even your neighbors, they had authority to chastise you as well as your parents did. I know you heard that before, but it actually is true.
Yeah, my parents would say that they would tell to the teachers as well. It's like, you can get at them too. So I'm not saying it's the same degree, but
in school we could get.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt so good the other day. I had a guy I hadn't seen in 54 years with my classmate. and we was like that. And he got in touch with me. He lived in Texas, and he came by my house last week. Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name?
Herman Taylor.
Herman Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you guys talked about?
We talked about things we did in school, the mischievous thing we did, and, about how many children we got now. Yeah. His name, Herman.
Yeah, that's really incredible. Let me think, do I have any other questions? Did anyone else in your family go to Central Academy? I'll ask you that.
All my family.
All your family did. So all your siblings and cousins as well?
Yeah, cousins, brothers, and sisters.
And children maybe as well, or no?
Children? You mean college?
No.
Or school?
Yeah, did your children go here?
No, they went to Palatka High. It wasn't Central Academy when they was going to school.
Okay. Wow. So you kind of, wow. You have quite an interesting life here, Mr. Baker. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time. Do you have anything else that you want to say or want to add?
It's just that, how times changed from when I was coming up to here up until now, the different changes, the streets. Because, like where I live at, it's called the South Side. We couldn't go over there. And everybody lived over here on the North Side. Yeah. All your streets was dirt roads. Your main roads was red brick. You see some around here somewhere. And, they were going down, we call it downtown, your stores. Yeah. You couldn't get a hamburger unless you stand in a line or go in the alley through a window, pay for it. And the movie theater, we had two here, and the one of them still here when I was a little boy. They made a church out of it. It's on the same street down here. Movie was a dime, 10 cents to go in. And downtown, white people go downstairs on the front of on the main street, and we go around the corner and go upstairs, and we could look down at them. Football games here we had here. Our football field during that time, the landfill was right down the street down here. And you couldn't hardly see the players playing at night from the fog. And then back then, they burnt trash instead of, doing like they do now. And from the smoke, and then, all in the neighborhood.
Wow. Yeah. So the racial difference was severe in the.
It was.
Severe. Do you know if a lot of your white counterparts in other high schools were drafted as well? Do you know if many of them were drafted as well?
It was a few, not really in Florida, or really any state at all. We was the one that got drafted the most. Because, rich boy, they could go to college, who and who, different ways they didn't have to.
Yeah, they have to go. Absolutely. Tell me about, did you have I guess, did you have white friends growing up? Did you like know any white kids your age when you grew up, growing up?
Yeah.
Tell me about them. What were their names?
We played every day. We hung out. He lived around the corner from me. Got along real good. He's still living. We still communicate.
That's awesome. That's really good. So, yeah, that's really good. I think it's encouraging to hear that despite segregation and the contempt that it was born from, there still can be like friendships among children. Kids.
I live right around the corner from me was the jailhouse, and city jail.
Wow.
And it was right by a black funeral home. And the chief of police, and the constable here, I used to go sit up and talk to them, go to the store, they give you a dime, a quarter, go to the store for them. And it was a little small. You been by the Dairy Queen here?
Oh, no, I haven't.
It was right up there in that area by the Dairy Queen. It's, and the city, Palatka itself, it don't look like much, but it's a lot of history, on the real part. Matter of fact, on Main Street, the next street over, you just go all the way up the railroad track, you just go all the way across the bridge, and the train, and a lot of people here now don't even know that.
Yeah. So you would see the train a lot in the river. I've heard people talk about, when they talk about Palatka, they talk about the St. Johns River. And so I know it was important. Do you remember interacting with it, like maybe swimming or fishing?
Oh yeah, we used to play hook and go, fishing and swimming. I was behind Central Academy, and go through the woods back in the back. We knew how to get to the river.
Yeah, from the back of the school.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Did you catch anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty good then. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and swim. Putnam County, just about everybody in Putnam County can swim,
That's good. Who taught you how to swim?
Just myself.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just going in?
Just going in.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. That's really awesome. I'm getting I can tell how important the school was to the community. Now, do you remember when the school kind of collapsed and caved in? Do you remember when that happened?
It caved in?
Or when it collapsed, or when it...
I was gone when that happened. I was overseas. But the high school that I graduated is still standing. They trying to sell it now.
Gotcha. Wow. Well, thank you so much. Oh, actually, no. I'll say this. If you, I'll ask you this question. If you could go back to your high school self, you go back to Donald Baker in 1966, what would you tell him? Before he graduated high school, what would you tell him?
What would I tell them?
What would you tell him, yourself, in the past?
That I wished I could stay here.
Yeah, simpler times, huh? Simpler times.
Yeah. I mean, I wish, if I was right now, I wish I could say I wish that was still Central Academy.
Yeah. And what do you hope for the future of Central Academy to be? What do you hope for that?
Well, look, it's not too from where I graduated from. Like I say, it's Jenkins now. It's from not to sell it, but do something that would mean, would be of some historical value to the Black people.
Yeah.
Us that went to school.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I don't have any more questions for you. Do you have anything for me? Any questions for me?
No.
Anything else you want to add at all?
No.
No?
That's about it, but
Well, yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Baker.